everybody, Jake here from Bearded Gear, and I've got a quick review to do for you. This is a knife that I've owned before, so it's easy for me to jump right into a review on it, although this is a new variation of it, and it's real dirty because I've been using it in the move. But here on my channel, I wanted to do kind of an update on how my trip went to Cutlery Shoppe in Idaho. Cutlery Shoppe is who created this exclusive Spyderco Para3 Lightweight. So I'm going to do kind of I'm not sure totally how this is going to unfold yet, but I'm going to talk about this knife here on my channel in this video. I'm going to do more of a comprehensive review of the knife on the Cutlery Shoppe channel, which I will link down below. So you'll see my review of this over there. And for the sake of time and efficiency, I'm going to talk about my trip where I got this, and also I got to visit Koenig and a lot of fun things, and I'll talk a bit about the knife here in this video. So why don't I kind of start with the trip, and if you don't want to hear about this, then by all means skip through. At the end, I'll hold the knife up again, we'll talk about it some more. But let me just try to kind of paint a picture of how this trip came to be and ended up happening. So basically, I went up to Idaho, to Boise, to visit Jeff Loffer, the owner of Cutlery Shoppe, who I'm now doing some work for. Again, that channel will be linked down below. You're going to see a lot of videos from me, hear my voice, see my face over there as well. I've been wanting to go up there and visit him for quite a while. He's also right around the corner from Koenig knives, and if you know me, you probably know that the Arius has been my favorite knife for a long time now. I currently own 3 of them. I'm about to get a 4th, and it may not stop there. I'm not typically a multiples guy. There's very few knives that I care enough about to have multiple variations of them. I guess the PM2 is one of those other examples, but the Arius I just can't get enough of, and I really, really enjoy the knife. So it worked out for me to go up with my buddy Thomas Moore. Many of you may know him from Instagram. He's one of the creators of the Millie Club, and then also the other creator of the Millie Club on Facebook, Jason Beatty. We all descended upon Boise at the same time. Thomas from the Pacific Northwest, Jason from the Midwest, and me from Southern California. We all landed in Boise within like 1 hour of each other, and Jeff Loffer picked us up from the airport. I was lucky, I landed first, so Jeff and I went and grabbed a burger while we waited for the other guys an hour later. But yeah, so we all got in Jeff's truck, and we basically had planned this like quick, efficient weekend of just knife stuff. And it ended up being a little bit of gun stuff as well. So we'll talk about that. But yeah, so we got in the truck, and the first thing we did was head over to Koenig Knives. And we had already talked to Bill Koenig. They are not the type of place where you can just go and walk in the door. So if you're getting any grand ideas about just visiting Koenig, don't. They're not going to let you in. But we had already, for weeks, we'd been talking to Bill and Garrett and Krista and the team over there, letting them know we were coming and making sure it was okay. And it was beyond all expectations. I wish I had some video to share with you of that, but I don't. Because I wanted to respect their privacy. They're pretty private about their processes, which they should be. They make, in my opinion, the best production CNC, almost mid-tech, like really, really amazing quality knives. They make the best, in my opinion. And so there are things they do there that I think they should keep secret. I would encourage them to keep those parts of their process secret because I want them to continue to be the best because I like them. Anyway, we thought we'd probably be there for an hour or two. We ended up spending, I think, 3 or 4 hours there straight. We saw every bit of their process. We got to peek at things on their shelves, and I got to hold the first knife Bill Koenig ever made. Just so many really wild things that we got to experience there, and got to see them be nerdy about not just knives, but the tools they use to make the knives, and so many really cool things. You can see if you go on their Instagram, they share shots of their shop and a lot of things about their process there. So it's not like it's a total mystery what's going on there, but there's a lot that goes into making those knives. I knew, or I thought I knew, how intensive of a process it is to make a Koenig Arius, And I walked out of there blown away by how much deeper it actually went than I realized. And also a little bit blown away that they don't cost even more than they do. They're expensive knives. Don't get me wrong. Objectively speaking, they're on the expensive end. But seeing how many hands touch each one, how precise their hand fitment is, the level or the number of steps in machining that it takes, and how to build that process of getting it machined. It's not like you press a button on a machine and an Arius comes out. It is so far from that. You can't even press a button on a machine and have a finished handle come out, just one side. It's multiple processes per thing, and it's just really cool to have been able to see that and see the people doing it. So yeah, we spent all afternoon there and just had the best time. It was like knife heaven for Jeff, Thomas, Jason, and I to be able to see all of that unfolding. And then from there, really, we didn't have much time because we had plans to do dinner. We ended up inviting the Koenig team to come to dinner with us, and they did, which was awesome. So we just went, checked into the hotel real quick, and then met at dinner. And we went to this really nice restaurant. I'm forgetting the name of it now at the moment, but really cool. It's, I think Jeff, it's like his favorite place up there. They go a lot, he and his wife. And so we met there, hung out at the bar for a little bit while we waited for a table and just chatted, all of us. And so it was Garrett, Bill, and Krista from Koenig. And then it was the four of us I already mentioned, Jeff, Jason, Thomas, myself. Jeff's brother and his wife came. And then Jeff's good friend up there, Dan Hawkins, shout out to him. He's a member of the Millie Club and a really cool dude. He came as well. And turns out Dan owns a local gun shop that is really cool. And he does laser work and all kinds of really interesting stuff. I got to sit next to Dan at dinner. That was awesome. So yeah, we had a great meal. Enjoyed dinner, and it was so fun to be with knife friends I already had, and then the Koenig team, who I'd met each of them several times. I've been in a group chat with Garrett for years and years, and I see them at shows and stuff, but to just enjoy a meal at a community table with these people, just hanging out and nerding out about things and showing everybody what's in our pockets, which was hurtful for me because I didn't check a bag. I just did a carry-on, so I didn't have my own knife to carry, although Jason was very generous and let me carry his Rask that night, his Grimsmo Rask. So that was fun to show off as if it was mine. But yeah, so we had this great dinner, and then after that, I think we just kind of went back to the hotel because we stayed there for hours. And so we just went, called it a night, and then the next morning, we got to visit Dan Hawkins' gun shop. First thing we did was go to that gun shop in Idaho, and oh my gosh, it is so much cooler than gun stores in California where we can't have the fun stuff. Just a really cool shop. They do amazing custom builds. They make these precision long-range rimfire 22s that they're hitting things with repeatable high levels of accuracy at like 500 plus yards. It's amazing. It's not like they just do 22s. They've got a whole bunch of stuff, but we spent a good while there that morning and just got to see Dan's world, and I loved that. I think we all did. Then after that, the like icing on the cake of the whole thing, a huge part of why we were there, arguably the most important part, was then we spent the whole rest of that day at Cutlery Shoppe. And it was so fun to be able to see behind the scenes at a knife retailer that I've been buying from for years. And I've been friends with Jeff electronically for quite a while, but now in person for a few months. We spent a ton of time together at SHOT Show and have been building this awesome friendship. Shout out to Jeff Loffer. He's one of my favorite, not just human beings in the knife world, but I love Jeff Loffer as a person even outside of the hobby. Just great, generous, wonderful, kind person, and hilariously funny and enjoyable to be around. So we went to Cutlery Shoppe, and Jason, Thomas, and I were like kids in a candy store, just going through the shelves, seeing all of the inventory, everything that's there, and just nerding out about all of the stuff that exists there. That it's, I mean, to a private collector of knives, I don't have as many knives as an established retailer like that has on their shelf, brand new. So it was really fun to check out. But on top of all of the inventory we got to see and some of the like exclusives we got to play with and stuff like this, we also got to go into Jeff's office. And I'm going to roll in some clips of Jeff's office because just the stuff that's on the walls on display, it's incredible. There are swords and giant fixed blades and all kinds of interesting things all over the shelves and the walls of his office. And it's stuff because he's been in the industry for decades, and the items he's accumulated over time are incredibly, some of them rare, some of them just plain cool. A lot of them are exceedingly rare. But so we saw all the stuff that was on his walls, of course, because it's out on display. But then Jeff also went so far as to pull out some really unique, very special things from his personal collection that are typically kept safe in drawers. And it was just wild to see knives, the common bond being knives, but the type of thing that I've never even really had any interest in personally collecting because it's just different than what I look for. But it's so exciting to, I think, probably any knife guy to see knives that are 100 years old or several hundred years old. He had one Chinese sword that was pulled out of a tomb when they were digging a railway in China that is like thousands of years old. Really, really cool stuff. And we just spent the entire day there checking it all out. And then also from his backyard shooting suppressed 22s. And that was a grand time to be able to just go out, literally step out of his shop and into his backyard and be able to shoot 22s suppressed with no ear protection on because they're so quiet. And it was a blast. It was so Idaho in the best possible way. So we did that until dinner. And dinner that night was supposed to be a smaller group at Jeff's house, and Jeff's wife cooked for everybody. She's a sweetheart. Shout out to her. And it was supposed to be a smaller group than the night before, but Jeff's wife at dinner invited everybody from the night before who was there. And so I guess Garrett didn't come, but Bill and Krista from Koenig did come, and Dan and his wife came, and we had basically a repeat of the group dinner from the night before, but in Jeff's home. And it was wonderful. We had lasagna and pasta and salad and garlic bread, and it was an amazing spread, and everybody seemingly brought really nice bottles of whiskey and stuff. So there was just a lot there and a lot happening, and it was like a dream trip. If I had done just one of those things, if I had just visited Koenig, if I had just visited Dan's gun store, if I had just visited Cutlery Shoppe, it would have been enough of a trip to justify getting to Idaho for a weekend and spending that time there. But I got to do all of those things. And I was hanging out with Jason and Thomas the whole time, which was just like, that would also be enough to just go hang out with those dudes. So it was really, really exceptionally cool to make this trip to Idaho. And I apologize if this has been a bummer to hear me just like gloating about how awesome it was. But I figured it was worth sharing. That's one of the things that's been going on for me lately. And it's one of the reasons why there hasn't been as much content being posted to the channel, because I've been traveling, doing stuff like that. Anyway, let's talk about this knife real quick. So I have had a lightweight Para3 before. When the model first came out, I got one. Like immediately got one when the lightweight Para3 came out. I was really excited for this new model, if you want to call it that. Obviously it's still a Para3, but this new totally different variant of the Para3. And so I got one of the first ones. It was black CTS BD1N steel, I think. And I liked some things about it, but I didn't love it, and I ended up letting it go. And I've been really tempted a few times to get a new lightweight Para3 to give it another try now that they've made quite a few more. And I could have just gotten a lemon. It might not even be that it was such an early one, but for the life of me, I could not get that knife centered, and the action just wasn't great. And other than that, I liked a lot about it. I loved that they put a wire clip that actually carries deep from the factory. The typical Para 3, not lightweight version, carries very shallow and does not come with a wire clip. Wire clips are my favorite, especially from Spyderco, and the fact that this one is positioned in preference over the lanyard hole is a huge improvement, in my opinion, over the regular Para 3. I love that. Also, the fact that it is so light makes it incredibly comfortable in pocket, very easy to carry. The way that they handle this FRN, they chamfer the edges way more than they do on the G10 of a regular Para 3, so it does feel even more comfortable in hand in a lot of ways to me. It's a very unique representation of the Para 3 because it is so much lighter and it has some very important differences to it. But the first one disappointed me because it was off center and the action wasn't great, and I couldn't get it centered and I couldn't get the action great. So I let it go. This one came out of the box perfectly centered and the action is just absolutely money. And I know that it's not a fluke because while I was there at Cutlery Shoppe, I got to handle quite a few, and they were all like this out of the box. So it was really, really cool to see that the Para 3 has gotten, or the lightweight Para 3 has gotten to this point where now functionally it feels as good and almost even like as solid, the way that everything is fit together, as my regular Para 3 does. In addition, being that this is a Cutlery Shoppe exclusive, it's got CTS XHP blade steel. I really like XHP. It's a great steel choice. And then we've got these bright orange scales. And the FRN took this orange really, really well. It is a vibrant orange. I've had, when I've posted, I don't know if it was a story or a post of this, something. At some point I posted about this knife. I've had people accuse me of photoshopping it to be brighter orange, and I literally specifically posted, I think it was a video in the Millie Club, with no filtering whatsoever. It was just natural light, and this thing pops. So if you're looking for a lightweight Para 3, this one is obviously a remarkably good choice, as long as you're okay with orange, which, if I'm being totally honest, orange isn't like my favorite color. You're not going to find a ton of stuff in my knife case in orange. It's not a color I naturally gravitate towards. I'm more into stealthy or earthy tones. But I've used this knife a ton during my move. I either only carried this pretty much the entire time or my full DLC Koenig Arius. Because I'm trying to see just how robust that DLC is, and I have not been disappointed. But as I've been carrying this, especially looking to have a knife in my pocket that I know I'm going to use harder than average each day that I carry it during this move, because I'm just pulling my knife out for all kinds of things while we're moving. A lot of it is still cardboard and stuff, but there's some zip ties and there's just things. I'm constantly having to install stuff here, and like, it's been a lot. And this knife in this color has been like refreshing as the tool that it is, because it is so high visibility that even like in an indoor environment, when I'm just like wrenching under the sink or whatever and need my knife and I've already used it, so it's out of my pocket and I've set it somewhere, it just flashes at you when you're looking for it. And that's the idea behind this bright orange, right? It's almost like a hunter safety orange. And a lot of guys who are super into like outdoor knife usage gravitate towards colors like this, because it's easy to lose your knife. If you're processing firewood and set it down, step away for a second, you come back and the knife is totally earth colored, it's really hard to find a lot of the time. So I totally get the merit of this color. And even though aesthetically, I don't feel like, to me, it scratches the same like coolness itch, from a functional standpoint, I adore it. And I've grown to really appreciate it the more that I've carried it and used it. And it carries deep in the pocket, so it's not like there's a big orange blob sticking out of your pocket when you're carrying it either. It's not super flashy in that way. It's just, yeah, it's really, really well done. So anyways, I will talk more about this knife on the Cutlery Shoppe channel. Again, that'll be linked down below. You'll be seeing quite a bit of me there. And it's great. It's really, really great. At the moment that I'm filming this, at least, these appear to still be in stock. There will also be a coated blade version. This is the satin. There's going to be a DLC. So if you want kind of a Halloween themed knife, that'll be a great one. But yeah, you can look for more on that channel. And I guess I'll see you guys over there. Appreciate you for watching through this and listening to me gloat about how wonderful my trip to Idaho was. But I just want to, again, reiterate how grateful I am to Jeff for hosting us, to his buddy Dan for also allowing us to come to his shop. He also gave these really sweet laser engraved Millie Club water bottles to each of us who were there. And he has since sold some of those in the club because so many people were jealous of ours that Jason and Tom were like, sure, list some. He does phenomenal laser work. But to Jeff and to Dan and to Bill Koenig and the team over at Koenig Knives and to Jason and Tom, thank you all. It was just beyond wonderful to spend that time up there. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you. And see you over on the Cutlery Shoppe channel.